You're out with your significant other and you're getting some coffee. Her coffee comes out. Yours comes out from the barista. And yours is wrong. You ordered a venti, the large, and it ended up being a tall, which is small. You look at the cup, you look at your significant other, and she's expecting you to say something, yet you say, it's okay. I don't need it. It's not a big deal. It's honestly not that big of a deal. And you go on your way. You feel absolutely ashamed. You feel weak. You feel like your significant other has lost respect for you. And they probably did. What's up? It's Dean Soto. I have been in that exact situation. Being the nice guy who doesn't want to rock any boats, who doesn't want to get what he wants. And it was a very hard struggle to get out of being a nice guy. In fact, it took maybe till a year and a half for me to finally change. And I'm 42 now. So in my 40s, it took that long to stop being that nice guy who gets the last of everything, gets the crumbs of everything. And I remember this happening quite a bit, and I'm going to share just some stories that I had as I was growing up and as I was getting married, and even as a successful entrepreneur, still falling for that trap and getting stuck in that trap, and why this happens and how you can get out of the whole nice guy syndrome in a relatively I wouldn't say easy way, but you will have a path to do it, and it's all practice. So, all right, so let's get into it. So, like me, you are a nice guy. You want to get out of that rut of being the guy who doesn't say anything, doesn't want to say that their latte was wrong, or their order was wrong, or that their significant other is wrong, or that whatever it might be, where you just cannot tell people what you truly want. And if you did, it would be extremely painful. Yet you see all these other guys who they have no problem being a jerk, no problem being assertive, no problem being honest with their feelings. Even if it means that they look bad, they will still do it. Why is that? And usually what happens, they get what they want. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So from the earliest memory that I can think of, it's funny, when I was a young kid, I was not a nice guy. I was more of not mean, but I was not afraid to tell people what I wanted. Whether it was Christmas gifts, whether it was I was at the mall and I wanted to get a specific game and I was trying to talk the shop owner down in price, or I was at the arcade begging for change, or whatever it might be. As a kid, there was no problem whatsoever asking for what I wanted. But there was a shift. There was a specific point in time where I just, I think it really came when I was, what grade was it? I want to say it had to be maybe 6th grade, 7th grade. I started getting picked on. At school. And there was one guy in particular that I don't remember his name, but he picked on me as I was coming home from from some kind of evening thing that they were doing at the school. And I used to live right across from Clegg Elementary School and Stacy Junior High over in Huntington Beach, California, or Westminster, California. And I was walking home, and he and another guy they would not stop picking on me. I was just trying to go home. And I remember at that time, my grandma saw them picking on me from across the way. And she's like, "Hey, you kids, stop doing that. That's my grandson. That's my grandson." And So they were pushing me, and I didn't do anything. And as time went on, I got into 8th grade, and there was this one other redhead kid. I think his name was John something. Anyway, we were sitting next to each other in math class, and he looks over at me and he just says, "Hey, you want to fight?" And I'm like, "Okay, I guess so." I didn't even think I had no idea that he really truly even wanted to fight. And we leave the class at the end of the class, and he starts fighting with me. And he got me down to the ground, and he was pummeling me in the face. Boom, 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 boom. And I completely, utterly lost that fight. And I cried. I cried like a little baby when he was doing that. And it was at that moment where I started not wanting to rock any boats whatsoever. I mean, it started from the very first time I was starting to get picked on, and it just slowly began to be where I was afraid to say anything. I was afraid to say what I wanted. I was still the funny guy. I was nice. I knew that when I was nice and I was not a threat to anybody whatsoever, things went well, right? I didn't run into problems at all. And so going into high school and college, that's what I became, was the nice guy. To the point where when my wife and I met, we would go out on dates, and I am so surprised that she still wanted to even continue going out with me. But if something happened where my order was wrong, or she needed something, I felt so. Let's say she needed some extra mayo or something like that. To go up and ask for extra mayo, I would feel like I am putting them out somehow. Like the waitresses, the staff, I would feel like I was doing something wrong, that I was adding more work onto their plate. And so I would hesitate, and sometimes to the point where she would have to ask. And I literally am shocked why she even how she even continued to date me, because she was very hot, and she still is very hot. Anyway, so it took a long time. It wasn't until I started my business where I started to have to get thick skin much more quickly and out of necessity. You know, when you start getting clients, you quickly find out that you're going to have those clients that are not good, that are troublesome, that are not really what you expect, and you will start getting them. You'll either get them, or you'll get, like, maybe you're doing content like this, and you're going to end up having people who leave nasty comments. And I would get these nasty I would get emails from my clients when they weren't happy, and I'd just be distraught, and I try and fix it, and they just were not good clients, these specific ones. But there was nothing that I could do to fix it, and eventually I had to cut them off, or I had to tell them, "Hey, we're not working together anymore." And it killed me. It was so hard. And I would do webinars, or I'd do different things where I would get comments, or I'd sell an information product, and people would ask for a refund, but they'd ask in a really nasty way, and it would just eat at me. And over time, it became less and less and less and less and less of an issue. And up until this very end, the last year and a half, I started to really learn things like the letting go method, the book Letting Go. I forgot what his name is, but it's a yellowish book on letting go of these past traumatic experiences, past things that keep you from there. They give you these triggers that keep you from being who you really are. And slowly but surely, up until now, even to now, I struggle with it, but ultimately I am not that nice guy anymore. I can be very assertive. I can be very funny. I can tell people, "Hey, I don't have the time to do this right now." Yes, I do have the time to do this. Whatever it might be, it's at the point right now where very nice, in a very kind way, I get what I want. That said, how did I get from where I was to now. If I would have known all of the things that I know now, it would not have taken 2 decades or more, 3 decades or more to get to where I am now. In fact, you can do it relatively easily, and it just takes practice, takes practice, takes practice, takes practice. So now that you've listened to up to this point, most people probably have dropped off. You are one of the top people in the world. Right now, people have such a low attention span that to get to this point is extremely difficult, but you went through it. And now that you've gone through this, I'm going to tell you how you can very easily get over the nice guy syndrome. Okay. How you can very easily get over the it's simple, but not easy, I should say. It is practice, and it's going to take a lot of practice, but day after day after day after day. And if you just do a little bit at a time, I promise you within a year or less, you will go from being that super nice guy who gets butterflies in your stomach when you're asking for that, for them to fix your cup of coffee because you asked for a venti instead of a grande, and to go from butterflies in your stomach to being very nice about it and just saying, hey, I actually ordered a venti and this is a grande, and you end up having a grande and a venti given to you because you asked for it. Okay. And doing it in a joyful, in a very, very congruent manner. Okay, so step number one, read the book, Letting Go. Okay. A lot of the stuff that you do right now is because of stuff that you have inside of you. Okay. It's trauma, things that, and when I say trauma, it doesn't mean that you were abused. It just means that you have taken whatever it is that you've taken in that was an experience, it changed something about you. It added a defense mechanism. And a lot of this stuff is there as a defense mechanism too, because it served you at some point. It actually served you to act in a way and kept you alive. Okay. And so your body looks and sees that and says, oh, if I act this way, I'll stay alive. So you're going to continue to act that way. What the book Letting Go allows you to do is to, when you start feeling something, so they mess up on your order at the Starbucks and you've ordered a venti, but they gave you a grande, immediately you start feeling those butterflies. That is your body reacting. And what this will allow you to do is see, oh, I am reacting in that way. Why am I reacting in that way? Oh, there's something there. So then you can start to amplify that feeling. Grab your cup of coffee, whatever, and stuff. Amplify that feeling and feel into that feeling. Let it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what that does is it actually removes the charge, I guess you would say. It removes the feeling. It removes as you explore what that actually is, and there's ways to go about doing that by just breathing and meditating on it or whatever. There's other ways to do it, like through SRT and so on. And you'll notice that it's no longer there eventually. That the next time they mess up on your order, you might not say anything about it, but you won't feel that bye. Okay? Because part of being the nice guy is you're being a nice guy because you're afraid that if you do something, your body's telling you that if I say something, I'm going to get hurt. Right? That I'm hurting somebody else, and ultimately I'm going to get hurt. Okay. So the idea is not to feel that feeling anymore. So then number 2, okay, once you go through that process and you don't feel that feeling anymore, okay, once you've gone through the process of letting go, releasing, there's a ton of YouTube videos out there on the whole idea of releasing. And I've said this on previous videos, super important. I thought it was a whole bunch of hocus pocus, but it changed me tremendously. I can't even say that. It changed me tremendously to the point where if you look at my past videos, I was never this calm. I would rush through past videos because I would have these feelings inside of me that who am I for people to listen to. I'm only an Inc. 5000 nominee, fastest growing company in the United States. Like 1125 or whatever, 1122. I don't even remember what place I was in. But who am I? Yeah. So I would have those feelings and I'd rush through. But now, if you can't tell, very different, very calm, very fun. I can smile, I can get serious, I can do whatever I want, and I have none of those feelings within me, okay, that I would normally have those butterflies. So number two, once those feelings are gone and you notice that they're gone, now is the time to change how you respond. It might be something as simple as practicing a couple of different things. One, I highly suggest that there are a couple of different YouTubers that I listen to for more of the social dynamic stuff. Some of their other stuff I don't agree with, but for the social dynamic stuff, one is First Man. It's the number one ST man, First Man. A lot of his marriage stuff, I don't agree. He thinks you shouldn't get married. I think you should totally get married. Marriage is amazing. But his body language stuff, his how to become a confident man, very, very, very true. A big part of that is leveling yourself up, and a lot of the stuff, the nice guy syndrome will go away when you become a much higher value man, whether you're fit or whether you are when you're fit, you're producing a lot of money, you're doing things that are very high value. Okay. The other person is Hamza, Hamza, and he talks about a lot of this stuff as well. And when it comes to being high value, this is the thing, is that you have to become a man. In order to have confidence, you have to have confidence in something. So you're going to be growing yourself. You're going to be going to the gym. You're going to be going you're going to be learning how to be better socially. You're going to be learning a bunch of different things. But then you're going to practice eye contact. You're going to practice eye contact. You can choose one a week. You can choose one a day, whatever it is. You're going to practice eye contact. You're going to practice speaking slowly. You're going to practice being much more open. You're going to practice smiling. You're going to practice saying things that you wouldn't have said before, because those feelings, some of them are no longer going to be there, that are keeping you from what you want, which is not necessarily being, if you don't want to be a nice guy, you can say, whether it's that pretty girl that you've always wanted to talk to, you might say something that was a little bit more flirtatious, or whether it's a waitress that messed up on your order, you might say, hey, you messed up on my you might say, hey, this wasn't what I ordered, and notice anything that comes up or doesn't come up. You go out and you practice, okay, one thing at a time. I always try and practice one thing. So if it's eye contact for the day, I practice just eye contact, talking while speaking and keeping eye contact, which is very hard. When someone's talking to you, it's very easy, okay? But when you are talking, it's very hard. Okay, so you're going to practice day after day after day after day, and you're going to notice when you have those feelings that pop up. And when those feelings pop up, it's going to go to number three, which is you're then going to release those feelings. You're going to go through the whole letting go process, the releasing process of those feelings as well. The fast way to do that is through SRT. If you go search on Google, SRT Global, I have no affiliation to them whatsoever. But it's super fast. It totally works. And you can learn the process. I think they even have it for free. So learn that. And then every time those feelings, those different types of butterflies, those different reactions pop up, you release them, okay? And then you go practice. And then you release them, and then you go practice. And you're just doing 2 and 3 over and over and over and over again, okay? So highly suggest Hamza. Highly suggest First Man. You know, I am of the belief that marriage is absolutely amazing, and it is what has gotten me to where I am today. They technically, they don't seem to, and that's sucks to be them. I have 9 kids, and you know, by the time They would have to be 60 in order to have 9 kids, but at the rate they're going. I love having my kids. It is the best. They are amazing. And so yeah, certain things I don't agree with, but ultimately that's how you stop being the nice guy. When you are nice, you are lying. And you're lying for self-preservation. Okay. You're lying for self-preservation. And the sooner you can get those feelings out of you and then practice doing what you want, then you will slowly be able to be who you want to be in any situation. And I'll leave with this last story. I was practicing this, and I went to this it was kind of like just a pub. It was I wanted to get some tea and some lunch or some dinner, and it was the only one that was open late. So I go and I walk in, I go and I put my hands on the bar, and there's a whole bunch of people there, and the waitress says hello to me. I look over to the left, I say the hello to the guy who's a regular who I've never met, and I ask his name, and I said, how are you doing? And I asked the guy on the right, how are you doing? And by the time I was done with everything, I had most of the people there knew me. I had one guy try actually come and talk to me, but I was busy, and I just said, hey, I'd love to talk to you, but I have to finish this thing up. And I was on my iPad, and he's like, oh, okay, no problem. And he walks away. By the time I'm done, I'm like the alpha of the entire pub. And I didn't mean to be. I was just letting everyone know what I wanted. And nobody wanted to do that. Nobody did that. And I was super nice about it. 100% nice. But I did what I wanted, and by the time I was done, everyone knew my name, and they even the waitress was like, "Oh, thanks so much for coming. We, hope you come back. Oh, hopefully we can see you tomorrow and whatever." That's what happens, but that just took practice getting to that time. I am an introvert, and for that type of stuff to happen, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so if I can do that, you can do it. So, this is Dean. Practice those 3 things. Read the book Letting Go. Start learning how to release. And release those things. Notice when those things are gone, and start practicing eye contact. Those feelings, when those feelings are gone, practice all the different things that you want to do. And then number 3, when those feelings come back up, go back to release. Notice that they're gone, and then notice that they're gone. Practice, and if those feelings come back up, go back to release. Okay. Boom, 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 over and over and over again. And I promise you it works, and you'll stop being that nice guy.